Hello, good afternoon to you on this Friday. I thought it would be nice just to have a little chat and to try and cheer you up on this rather difficult day for everybody. It may be even more difficult for some than previous days, and I know that lots of people have been in touch saying how frightened they are by this epidemic, how scared they have been for themselves and for their loved ones. And while we all are concerned with the world itself and all the people in it, you know, it's very difficult to hold it together as an individual when all these things are happening around us and when we're blasted by constant bad news, really. And I suppose the mainstream media is doing its best to keep us uplifted. They've switched a little bit from their usual doom and gloom stuff to having people in their programmes showing how they're making the best of a bad situation, which the human race is well known for, fortunately. And I was thinking about how I personally have felt in order to link in, if you like, with how everybody else is feeling, not because I want to sort of ponder my own situation, but we can understand other people's situations and feelings and troubles and worries if we actually acknowledge our own and think about how we feel and how we have felt in our lives. Now, us old ones have actually been through so much as young people that I felt that we have something to offer young people. You know, I know that there's a lot has been said about the elderly and vulnerable, the elderly and infirm, the elderly and frail. And of course, I come into all those categories now. But I remember when I was a young person, I saw the elderly as a sort of another world. They were people apart. And it wasn't until I got old myself that I realised that it's an ambition we all have, is to live for a long time. And this means that you're going to be actually old and probably frail and infirm and vulnerable and all those things. And it's strange to be part of my generation that is now thought to be so worthy of care and consideration, when as a teenager my generation were often vilified and called names apart from anything else by our older generation at the time. But one of the things that I remembered most about getting not too well and worrying was coming home from church one night. I was middle-aged then, young middle-aged, very young middle-aged, and I was going through what's now called the menopause. We didn't know what to call it then. We called it something else if we called it anything. And I was going through all sorts of symptoms, horrible and everything. And I went to get on the bus from church. And as I got on the bus, it was full of elderly women who had been to the local bingo. And as I got up, I went up the stairs to get onto the bus. I looked at them all and I thought, well, they all look all right. And they must have been where I am now, so I'm sure that I will be all right. And it actually gave me some strength and courage to continue, because there they were, white-haired. Some of them were wearing scarves, as was the fashion in that day, and yet they looked perfectly all right and normal to me, and they didn't have a care in the world. And I thought, well, here am I worrying about everything, but they must have been through this. And they're out the other side and they look all right. So I took heart from that. So I suppose what I'm saying to you is, you know, look at the elderly, try and put away from yourself that they're supposed to be sort of special considerations and everything, and see us as some kind of encouragement, if you would. Don't look at the outer coverings because you may not be terribly encouraged by that. But the fact is, you know, I've had lumps dug out of my neck and face and everything. I've had half my chest cut away, all sorts of different operations, and you know, on top of that, before that, I had all sorts of injuries, both self-brought about by playing ice hockey and speed skating, and others by somebody or other a few times who took exception to me being the sexuality that I am and beat me up. And I've got 2 broken noses. You know, other people only have 1. I have 2. And all sorts of other injuries, you know, lumps out of my leg and stuff where I was kicked and with hobnail boots. But here I am, you see. So when you're looking and thinking about these elderly and vulnerables, actually try and take some strength from them, take some strength from me and all my generation, because those of us who are still here, you know, alive and kicking as they call down here on the earth plane, are telling you that whatever goes on in your life, as long as it doesn't actually kill you, you're going to be all right. And that's something I think that on an earthly level people need to sort of think about perhaps. However, of course, I like being considered for shopping and stuff like that, and I have wonderful neighbours. You know, I'm with Kathy, as you know, and she, of course, is in self-isolation. She's absolutely certain it's because of me. It's not because of her age or anything. And at the moment, she's exercising somewhere with the dogs, so that we can have a little bit of time together. What I was worrying about myself was all the people, as I mentioned, who said they were so frightened and scared. And one poor man said he'd been crying all night. I mean, other people have been shedding tears. Yes, it's you can't stop ourselves. We can't stop ourselves being upset and sad about things. And lots of people have a great deal that they could cry about and be upset about. And the young chap who was crying all night is in a terrible state of physical condition and everything. And I know that we all wish each other well and not to be frightened and not to cry. And some of us who don't have parents anymore, who would have come in and cuddled us when we were crying. The fact is this, that as a spiritualist, as you know I am, I know that there are loved ones in the world of spirit, those who have died, if you like, to this life, who are still able, they're conscious individuals in another dimension that some may call heaven, we call the realms of light, other dimensions, if you want to be more scientific about it, on other vibrations of life. And they are actually still continuing in their lives on a spiritual plane, and they are able to communicate back with us and make their presence felt. And when they see us so upset and crying, they want to put their arms around us still. So I was thinking to myself, how can I actually get this across and comfort people out of the knowledge that I have? One of the things that we do as a spiritualist practice, particularly, is guided meditation, which is a slightly different kind of meditation to all the other varieties, which are very nice and uplifting and spiritual in essence. But we like to have meditations with those who are in the next world to ours, that world to which we all proceed eventually, either sooner or later, but it's for sure. And I thought that it would be very nice. I was sitting here worrying. I thought, how can I actually help people? We do have these meditations that help other people. We have healing meditations that help others all the time. And I thought, but no, this time, and I was telling my people on the other side that I work with, or who work with me, that what I really needed was some kind of inspiration to give a meditation, a short meditation for healing for the person who was actually going to do the meditation. So although we do want to help everybody of course, outside of ourselves. What we have to do is, as I mentioned to you earlier, is to acknowledge our own fears and unwellnesses, and to ask for help for ourselves, because I always use that analogy of being in an aircraft cabin, and the safety regulations say to you that if you do need to use an oxygen mask, it will drop down for everybody. You must put yours on first so that you are in a fit state and able to give that oxygen mask to the next person next to you, your child, your relative, your friend, other people who are sitting there, any passengers. And I think that on that basis, we need to ask for healing for ourselves. So I would like to say to you that we would have a prayer perhaps to end, but our sort of prayer today will be a healing meditation for ourselves. And I am hopeful that my helpers will give me a meditation that I can speak with you, so that if you care to take this, you will actually be made to feel better and get some healing for yourself. And by healing, I mean that your tears will be wiped away, that you will feel a glow of comfort, that you will get some feelings of love from those you love who have passed before you and who come close to you at this time to give you that comfort and reassurance that you need. And I hope to be the mouthpiece for that and the instrument of that. The good thing about these live Facebook chats is that they are accessible after the event. And I know that whenever you undertake this healing meditation that we're going to be given, I hope, you will get a benefit from that. And of course, it doesn't matter how many times you do it, because it's healing, and that is basically means it's not going to injure you or hurt you or anybody else. So we'll just take a few minutes, that's all, and we'll close our eyes and we'll make our affirmation that everything we do only in the light and with love and in truth. Now close your eyes, relax as you can, relax as much as you can, wherever you are seated or lying down. And in your mind's eye, imagine a shaft of light in front of you. And that shaft of light is going to act as a carrier, a transporter. And you're going to get into that shaft of light, and it's going to carry you away to a beautiful place. Where you are going, in the shaft of light you've just stepped into, you are actually going on a mystery healing tour. You're going to go to a beautiful beach. It's a nowhere kind of beach. It's not on Earth. You go to this beautiful beach. So shortly we will arrive there. There, we've come to rest. Step outside of that shaft of light, because the light will wait for you. Step out onto that beautiful golden beach. Look at the blue sea, blue sky, absolutely beautiful surroundings. Walk along the beach. You can see a little way off the entrance to a cave, and there's a beautiful blue light coming out of that cave. You wonder what it is. You walk along, the sea is there, blue sky, beautiful, you feel warm. And as you approach the cave, you see that as you are going to walk through the opening, that the walls are lined with beautiful crystals. And these are all healing crystals, and they have rays that you can actually feel as you walk through. Absolutely beautiful. And yes, you can see other people there moving around. Wonderful. And you may even see somebody that you love who's in the other world, who may just have come to greet you, to give you some comfort by their presence. Walk around, look around, drink in the beautiful healing rays, the colours, absolutely magnificent. There. Oh, there's a table there, and there's some crystals lying on it, and some candles and some little rocks, lovely little array there. Do go over to the table and have a look, see what's there, and pick something up from there that you can take for yourself. And although it's in a spiritual world, you will still have it with you when you leave. Give you some comfort and upliftment and healing. And now it'll be time to leave the cave. You're feeling much better, much calmer. Walk out into the sunlight. Walk out onto that lovely golden yellow beach. See the sea lapping away there, beautifully calm, blue sky, the warmth. You see just a little way away the shaft of light that's just waiting there, and walk towards it. It's wonderful. You feel weightless, happy. Walk towards that shaft of light. When you've gone inside, you suddenly feel it taking off. And now you feel yourself moving, and you know that very shortly you'll be deposited back where you started. And there you are. And step back out of the shaft of light. Go back to where you began. There. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes, wriggle your fingers and your toes. There, get the weight of your body going again. Feel that gravity, that physical circulation. And I hope that you feel a lot better after that. There. So I didn't know where we were going or what we were doing. I suppose you could say that that's something that I suffer from all the time. I don't know where I'm going and I don't know what I'm doing, but I trust that I put my hand in the hand of the Almighty, and I know that I will be led appropriately. And I knew that we would be given something that would help us. And I was there with you, and I must say that I feel a lot better now, because I was worried. You know, we are all worried, and people can trot out as many platitudes as they like, saying, oh yes, it would be, everything's going to be fine, don't worry about it. But nevertheless, the statistics that come at us from all sides, and the stories of doom and gloom are just dreadful. And you can imagine with thousands of people passing to the next life, we might say unexpectedly, but of course everything is known over there. They know what's going to be happening. We don't, and sometimes it's better if we don't know. Let's face it, if some of us oldies knew what we would have to go through to actually get old, we would have scampered back. We'd have thought, no, we can't do that. But we must all press on and go forward. And I'm so sorry that if you feel bad, if you're worried and scared and all those things, because I also know what it's like to feel like that. And I hope that little meditation, if you do it again when you feel bad, if it's in the night, when they say it's always darkest before the dawn, and nighttime does seem to be a time when the human race is at its lowest. Perhaps it's something to do with the vitamin D that they're not getting. I don't know. There must be a scientific basis for it. But I hope that if you think about that little meditation, when you're feeling bad, when you're feeling low, that you can actually feel better, and just go and visit that place, because do you know something? It exists. It's actually there. And I know, because I've been there before. I didn't know where we were going today on our meditation, but I have been there many times before, and I think you'll find that many spiritualists have been to that same place. So there you are. I hope too that you met somebody. It would be nice. And Joanne, you said nearly fell asleep. Oh, that's very nice. And the thing is, if you would all like to mention to me how you got on, how you feel, I would be happy to hear from you. I just hope that you know that everything's going to be all right. And us oldies, you know, we got old because we lived through a lot, and you will live through a lot, and you will get old as well. There, what a lovely thought. And you know, I'm fascinated myself to see my hair getting longer and longer, and who knows, by the time this is finished I may have the long ringlets that I started out in life with. So I do wish you all so well, and let's end with a prayer for healing for everybody. As we say, dear Lord, we ask for healing for all those sick and suffering, whether in body or mind, in pain or struggling with this virus. We ask for your healing blessings, O Lord, to make them better, to give that comfort and your love to envelop them now and always and evermore. Amen. There. I hope that you've enjoyed our little chat. And that's wonderful, Joanne. Oh, you saw your grandma. I'm so glad. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Blue, of course, we know always blue is healing. That seems to be standard. Although all the other colours have various other meanings attached to them. Apart from, I think, pink, which is always love. Some people think it's a sissy colour. I remember when I started speed skating and they accepted me into a speed skating club, they said, we can't let you in, Lynn, because before we know it, everybody will be wearing pink tights to race in. Well, because in those days, everybody wore black tights. And I did too, black woolly ones to be precise. Now, don't let your imagination run away with you there. And black woolly tights and a football top. That was our standard racing uniform. Yes, they'll all be wearing pink ties. Well, the funny thing is that they did. They all started, when the skin suits, cat suits came in, they all started wearing different colours. And one of them was pink. Nothing to do with me whatsoever. So I'll say God bless to you. And I trust that you will feel better. And now I shall go and relieve the dogs because and see where they are actually. And Kathy, they wouldn't have gone very far, and they're very quiet at the moment, so they may be all up to mischief. So I shall go and sort that out. God bless you all. God bless you.